or hours, and members of the public have begun filing in to pay their respects. Also, within the last hour and a half, King Charles and the Queen Consort and his siblings also stood by the Queen's coffin in prayer and in thought. That one, as you can see, as we go into the middle of the evening, members of the public continue to file past Queen Elizabeth's coffin, paying their respects. The coffin will lie in rest for 24 hours in St Giles Cathedral. Tomorrow it will be transported to London, and on Wednesday evening the opportunity for members of the public to also pay their respects in Westminster Hall will begin. There will be 4 full days where members of the public will be able to file past the coffin and pay their respects, just as we're seeing people doing so in Edinburgh. Those days will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and that opportunity will come to an end at 6:30 in the morning on Monday, just hours before Queen Elizabeth's funeral, which begins at 11 o'clock on Monday morning. Well, let's bring in...
Several protest groups have said they won't campaign.
Their faces. It was last Thursday that their mother passed away, and you know, they had that private time gathered behind the gates of Balmoral. What they've done over the past 2 days has been to engage the wider society in the loss of their mother and a monarch. And I think that engagement has been respectful, hasn't it? Yes, there have been hecklers. There was one in the crowd today shouted down by those around him with chants of God Save the King. But largely this was a very powerful occasion, I thought. A drive, a very slow drive up the Royal Mile with the Queen's children walking behind her. It was intimate. They were within conversational distance of the crowds, thousands who'd crammed in to the pavements of the Royal Mile, and it was silent. And I think what we had was the power of silence of a big crowd, and it was respectful. The atmosphere certainly was solemn. People we've spoken to speak about the sorrow and regret and sense of loss that they have felt, and that's why they came here. That's why they're still coming here. And I'm looking at crowds just coming around from George IV Bridge into the Royal Mile. They are queuing back in the meadows in Edinburgh and far beyond. It's something like a queue a mile long, and they will go through the night. The people here in Edinburgh being afforded that opportunity before something similar is afforded to people down south, of course, because the Queen will lie in state in Westminster Hall. But for now, because of the geography of all this, because of where the Queen died, it's happening north of the border. I spoke, to the Reverend Kenneth Mackenzie. Has been the Queen's chaplain. He's now the King's chaplain, but he's the minister in Crathy Kirk, which the Queen used to attend. And he was telling me about how she would look at her mother. She would go on the road with her mother to various public events, and she would see the affection and reverence that people had for the Queen Mother. And she wondered out loud to the Reverend Kenneth Mackenzie, and this was not that long ago, about whether or not she would enjoy similar reverence, and there would be a similar fuss about her when she had passed. Well, I think we got her answer today, and we got it yesterday, didn't we, when we saw that 6.5-hour drive down south. Today, rather shorter, 0.8 of a mile up Edinburgh's High Street in the heart of the old town. But we saw crowds, we saw respect, we saw that sense of loss and due regard for somebody who was much loved in this country. So it has been quite an occasion, both on the state level and on the family level. As I say, we've seen the pictures, and I think we saw family strain, a family coming together, taking a moment for themselves amidst all the logistics and everything that this is. It's been a huge event in the centre of Scotland's capital.